Hello, everyone, and welcome to OTel Sucks. My name is Juraci Paixão Kröhling. I'm a software engineer at OllyGarden. And for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to show you the different ways in which OTel sucks. I'm not going to be the one telling you all of that. I brought some guests here. I recorded some of them. Some of them are actually here in the audience as well. So if you could raise your hands, and I know it's not only you. So but anyway, also with me today is Dyla.
Yeah, so I'm Daniel Dyla. I'm a software engineer at Dynatrace. I've been working on OpenTelemetry for about 5 years, including governance committee and maintainer of OTel.js. And we are here to talk about some ways in which OTel sucks. But in order to do that, we have to explain a little bit about what is OTel, because it's a big part of it. So OTel is a specification, obviously, but also it's an API, and it's not just one API, it's 13 APIs, I think, and 13 SDKs, and instrumentation libraries in all of those languages, and auto-instrumentation to set up all of those instrumentation libraries.
That's a lot of things.
Oh, it is so many things. But you don't have to take my word for it. We have a testimonial from Adriel Perkins.
Yeah. And if everything works, we're going to see and hear Adriel here.
OpenTelemetry is already a lot. It is a lot. There is no doubt about how much stuff there is within OpenTelemetry. You know, one of the things that blows my mind is that there's a OpenTelemetry transformation language. And that has so many things going on with it, and it's super powerful. But like, you know, it is a lot just to understand that one piece, right? Let alone the collector that it's used within, let alone the semantic conventions behind the collector and behind the transformations.
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
In addition to Adriel, we have testimonials from 3 other people, but I'll let them introduce themselves. If the Wi-Fi works.
I don't.
It's loading up, so we have a backup plan. So if it doesn't work, we I move to the backup plan.
Yeah, backups probably.
Adriel Perkins, principal engineer at a consulting company.
Oh yeah. Oh, God, come on.
Oh, no. Next one.
The next one, right?
Adriel Perkins, principal engineer at a consulting company called the over in the United States. I'm also the current project lead for CI/CD, the CI/CD special interest group within OpenTelemetry, working alongside Dotan Horowitz, who's a CNCF ambassador. Also a co-owner of the GitHub and GitLab receiver components within the OpenTelemetry collector as well.
Yeah, so that's Adriel.
Hello,
also.
I'm James.
Hi, James.
Let me start again.
Sure, start again, James.
Starting again. Hello, I'm James Moises. I work for Atlassian. I'm a software engineer. I work in the observability team for about the last 4 years it's been. And I work on OpenTelemetry every day. I work on lots of different parts of OpenTelemetry.
Yeah, that's James.
And I'm principal engineer at Delivery Heroes developer platform. It's an organizational unit that provides several platform capabilities such as cloud infrastructure, continuous delivery, and continuous integration, and obviously also observability and resilience engineering and many other cool things.
Yep.
Bom, eu sou o Alexandre Magno, sou gerente sênior aqui da Abismo, cuido das áreas de banco de dados e observabilidade. Já estou aqui há aproximadamente 4 anos com esses desafios aí, cada vez mais desafios aparecendo.
Cool.
So of course, OpenTelemetry is a lot of things, but where do most people start with it? They start with auto-instrumentation. Auto-instrumentation is of course meant to be the easiest way to start with OpenTelemetry, but unfortunately there are some, we'll call them rough edges and ways in which auto-instrumentation kind of sucks sometimes.
Recommend using OpenTelemetry, but they can decide on their own. And frequently, when they do decide and search in the OpenTelemetry space for the instrumentation that they want to use, if auto-instrumentation offering exists, they always pick auto-instrumentation because it's easier to integrate. It's, you don't need to instrument anything manually. It's auto, after all. But sometimes operational problems might result from using auto-instrumentation. And for example, once we used the auto-instrumentation for .NET applications, and the .NET auto-instrumentation created the spans and traces with extremely high cardinality and a huge volume, and it overloaded our collectors. It overloaded also the observability vendor where we have been ingesting to, and we had to tune the auto-instrumentation so that we do not produce this abundance of unnecessary telemetry signals frequently, because auto-instrumentation, it instruments also things that are not necessarily helpful to identify the incident or like the root causes for the incident. It might create a lot of noise, and it might create a lot of additional telemetry that nobody will be using in the end. So this is the problem with this, but currently we're exploring what else can go wrong. So for example, already with .NET we faced this problem. We have faced this problem also with Java auto-instrumentation. So let's see how it will go, but I would be very cautious using auto.
So
Yeah, but I mean, it's
kind
only
of
auto-instrumentation, right?
yeah,
I mean,
and of course, there is a solution to this, right? So auto-instrumentation should follow the Semantic Convention, which is a single stable document.
it is. Yeah, I mean, no problems at all with semantic conventions, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think they're perfect, aren't they, James?
Is how I got introduced to OTel in a sense, and it was really frustrating for us because the promise of the Semantic Convention was that there is one convention to rule them all, and all of the telemetry that you have will follow this amazing standard convention. And I've even done talks on how amazing this convention can be if all of your HTTP metrics look exactly the same, and wow, all of your microservices are going to just live in harmony and just like utopian kind of dream of everything being standardized. The promise of the Semantic Convention is so great, but basically because it is so widespread, it's just been slow to get into a stable state, essentially. And that has been the most annoying and frustrating thing, because many years ago we were like, damn, this convention is going to be so great, but they keep changing it and it keeps breaking all of our metrics, and then Prometheus turns things to underscores, and then it turns it back to dots in the collector, and we don't, all these kind of things. And we would have just loved to. How long does it take to figure out what a HTTP status code should be in the Semantic Convention?
How long indeed?
Well,
I think James is not alone.
There might be a tool for this, though, right?
Of course, I mean, OTel sucks only on the semantic conventions and auto-instrumentation. I'm definitely sure that the collector is just perfect, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's why people use OpenTelemetry, after all. Or is it, though?
so many times where, because the collector is not stable yet, that I've been building a downstream distribution and someone stayed on it for a long time without updating, and then boom, interfaces internally have broken and you have to make all these code changes to take the latest update, or like fix packages, right? Because things are so in lockstep on the upstream beta versions of the collector.
So it's not perfect after all, I think.
The collector has problems too, I guess. But I see a lot of people in the crowd here, and I think if OTel really did truly suck, we'd have way less people here. So for the next 15 minutes or so, Juraci and I would like to explain ways in which OTel also rocks. So I'm Daniel Dyla. I am a software engineer at Dynatrace. I've been working on OpenTelemetry for about 5 years now, and with me is Juraci.
You should have seen here an OTel Rocks slide as well, but I'm having trouble with the slides.
Imagine a slide.
This is a new presentation. Hi, my name is Juraci. I'm a software engineer at OllyGarden, and I'm here for the next 10 to 15 minutes to talk to you about ways in which OTel rocks, right?
Right.
And we are not alone here. We brought some guests with us to tell you all the ways in which OTel rocks.
And before we talk about that, we should talk about what OpenTelemetry is.
Right.
Of course, OpenTelemetry is a specification, and that's the most important part. You can't have all of the APIs without a specification. You can't have all the SDKs without APIs. You can't have all the instrumentation without those APIs and SDKs working together, which we've done in, I think, 13 languages, maybe plus or minus 1 or 2. I'm not 100% sure, but really, they work together really well, much better than they really have any right to.
Sorry.
OTel rocks. There you go. There's the slide. So
it is a lot.
Of course, it is a lot of things, but it has to be a lot of things because it's a big problem that it's trying to solve, and a lot of people working on solving it.
And it is a complete framework, right? So people can use OTel to instrument their applications up to delivering the telemetry data to a backend. So it has to be a lot of things.
Yeah,
and a
of
consistent
course.
message. Now, but there are good things about OTel that is not only...
Of course, yeah. So auto-instrumentation, this is typically the easiest way to get started with OpenTelemetry. I think without it, most people would not get started with OpenTelemetry. So let's hear from Elena about her experience with auto-instrumentation.
Aspect of using OpenTelemetry that I wanted to talk about, and it was the auto-instrumentation, because generally, and this is also what is now different in my experience in Delivery Hero versus experience in Zalando, because back then there have not been any, there were hardly any auto-instrumentation capabilities, but now there are many for different runtimes. And in Delivery Hero, it is natural for the engineers. Central observability team is not imposing anything on the engineering team, so they can use whatever instrumentation they want. We do recommend using OpenTelemetry, but they can decide on their own. And frequently, when they do decide and search in the OpenTelemetry space for the instrumentation that they want to use, if auto-instrumentation offering exists, they always pick auto-instrumentation because it's easier to integrate. It's you don't need to instrument anything manually. It's auto, after all.
Yeah, so people don't have instrumentation, then suddenly they add auto-instrumentation, they can observe their systems, right?
Yeah, and it really does a lot, and it obviously is a lot and does a lot, and it's in many different languages, and as James pointed out earlier, sometimes an HTTP status code is just an HTTP status code. It should be the same everywhere. And the way that we achieve that in OpenTelemetry is with the Semantic Convention. So to sort of give a little bit more about his experience with the Semantic Conventions, we have again James.
Yeah, James again.
Thoughts on how amazing this convention can be if all of your HTTP metrics look exactly the same, and wow, all of your microservices are going to just live in harmony and just like utopian kind of dream of everything being standardized. Now, that's an amazing thing to strive to. And when you're at a big company, I'm sure that you have about 27,500 different metrics for displaying a HTTP response. So something like OTel tells you basically don't do that, have the same convention across every language. A HTTP response is the same, doesn't matter what language you're using, kind of thing. So how long does it take to figure out what a HTTP.status code should be in the semantic convention? But the reason, so it sucks for that reason that it's taking so long to stabilize, and it is becoming stable. The HTTP semantic convention is now stable, which is great. There's still much more work to do in stabilizing the rest of the conventions. But the flip side of it being so slow, there's a reason it's being slow. It's because they are being so careful, and they take the guarantee of stability. When it is stable, they take it very, very seriously, right? So once it's stable, you know it's going to be stable, and they're not going to break it.
Yeah, so perhaps not shiny, happy telemetry, but when things are stable, they are stable, right?
When they're stable, they're stable.
Yeah.
And when they're not, there are tools to deal with that as well.
Yeah. What about the collector? I think the collector is the part that is closest to me. And I think the collector is really, really powerful, and we can achieve so much with the collector. But I'm biased, right? So let's hear from Alexandre Magno how the collector is working for them.
Pegou e optou por utilizar o tail sempre. Então eu fiz alguns testes com o tail sempre usando vários cenários. Se eu quisesse indexar só erro, se eu quisesse indexar só transações com uma latência maior que um determinado valor. E em todos esses cenários que eu testei tinha funcionado bem, mas foram testes isolados, então eu precisava ver isso de fato ali no mundo real mesmo. Então eu implementei isso em alguns ambientes que a gente tem desenvolvimento que tem um alto volume e a ferramenta se comportou bem. Foi aí que a gente pegou, amadureceu a ideia, levou para a diretoria e decidimos implantar para todo mundo, para todos os ambientes. Quando a gente implantou para todos os ambientes, a gente conseguiu reduzir drasticamente o custo que a gente tinha de observabilidade. As máquinas que a gente tinha, as réplicas de OpenTelemetry que a gente tinha para alguns ambientes, eram réplicas grandes, que a gente já contornou isso também com load balancer. Não está em todos os ambientes, mas a gente já implementou em alguns ambientes e tem se comportado muito bem. Então, a gente colocou HPA tanto na camada de load balancer quanto na camada dos coletores. E aí tem acompanhado e tem funcionado muito bem. Então, assim, quando a gente precisa de mais recursos, a gente provê esses recursos via HPA. Quando não precisa, a gente faz o downscale e trabalha com o mínimo aceitável.
So I think you're right, the collector does rock. But you know what? I think we're forgetting the biggest reason that OpenTelemetry rocks, and that is the community. It's all of you guys. I have no idea how many people are in this room right now. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me. Please raise your hand if you've ever made a contribution to OpenTelemetry, if you've ever opened an issue, if you've ever joined any of the meetings, if you have ever made any contribution to OpenTelemetry. I mean, we really could not do this without the community. Yeah. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that.
No, and I'm not also the other one person. I think we have testimonial from someone else telling us about our community.
But I've really enjoyed working within the community. This is like my first set. This community is my first community of being really actively a part of in terms of open source contributions. And it's in part because I've really enjoyed working with the people there. There's so many bright people who are very kind and very good to work with across all of the different SIGs that I've interacted with. They're always ready to help. They're always ready to guide. They're also super smart. Like the first meeting I got into at the collector SIG, I felt super imposter syndrome. And I still get it all the time. But I remember that first meeting like it was yesterday. I was listening to someone talk about the inner workings of the collector and my mind just exploded. Because I could tell that he had a mental map of every line of code within that thing and how it operated, and I could not compute, right? And so there are really, really smart, great people to work with that have improved me personally just by getting to kind of like interact with them, hear what they're thinking, hear the thinking process they're going through. I've become a better engineer, or I feel like I've become a better engineer just through these interactions within the community. And it's a super helpful community. People are passionate, they're excited about what the future holds, and most of the time, everyone is very cordial and kind, even though they may be very direct sometimes.
I think I may know who he's talking about. So really, thank you from myself and Juraci and all of the OTel project. Thank you to everybody in this room for being a part of the community. We really could not do it without you.
Yeah. I know I'm a better engineer by, based on my experience with OpenTelemetry, so in the community. All right, so we recorded those interviews with James, with Elena, with Magno, with Adriel, and there's so much to hear from them. We were not able to just get like everything that we wanted here, so we added a few extra slides. So scan the QR code, download the slides, and you have an extended version of this presentation. And a couple of other videos from people with spicier takes than what we've seen here. So do scan the QR code and watch it later. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you had fun. And it's us showing you that OTel is not perfect. It's not, but it still rocks.
It still rocks. So I think we have time for questions.
Yeah,
if
so if
people have questions.
Yeah. Or if you have a tale to share about your experiences with OTel, good and bad, also feel free to. All right, thank you again, folks.